guys, it's Hits from Bindaas Bollywood. We have a super special guest. One of my favorite teachers. This is Shashi Senthan. You've seen him everywhere, but he needs no introduction. He's a brilliant dancer and choreographer. Hello.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Well, you're all the way there. You need to come back to Melbourne soon. Hopefully.
Yeah, once everything's done. Yeah.
No, honestly, our students love you guys. Oh my gosh. Like, I know I've learned from you a couple of times. Like, you've done guest teaching for us, but also like you hosted some workshops on your own as well. And they were amazing. My bones were hurting afterwards, but it was a good pain. But I was going to say, like, you are so very well recognized, but just don't even make it in a nutshell. Just tell us everything about how did your dance journey start? Like, what styles do you teach and what's your vision for dance?
Right. Okay. So how I started is very simple, same story as most brown kids in Australia. We got put into Tamil school performances. So that's what happens on the weekends, meet your people from your own community. So that was a fun way to get started and dance with other people. But also being in Australia, I didn't gravitate towards it because there is a little bit more drawn towards like the white culture and you want to kind of assimilate. So you don't really get drawn into it as much. But I did enjoy it. It was something that was fun. But I think my key, like a milestone where I remember where I was like, okay, I really like dancing is when I was like probably 12 or 13 and I watched a movie called Stomp the Yard. And there's like the first sequence with Chris Brown and he does like all these cool hip hop moves and I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And from there on, I just started doing hip hop. So I think my first style was probably like popping that I genuinely went out of my way to learn. Just also I want to note that like I didn't really get to go learn from dance teachers or anything. I just learned on YouTube. It's not that my dad didn't want to, but it's just something that we just never thought about it. I was just like dancing on my own and just enjoyed it. So, learned on my own. So that was kind of like a real passion for me and almost came like a point where it was like a bragging point, like, oh, I taught myself kind of thing. Yeah. That's where I started essentially.
Oh, wow.
That was about 10 years ago, but yeah, just stuck through it. And I think my style has changed a little bit. I don't say a little bit, a lot over the years, especially just to kind of like, how do I say, match other interests, like external interests. So when I came to Sydney, the Tamil community was a lot stronger. There's a lot more passionate. Yeah. So to kind of fit back in from being a little bit more whitewashed is I had to start learning a bit more Tamil styles like Kuthi and Ghana. So I started fusing that into my hip hop, and that's what today is my style. It's like urban Ghana. So it's got the mix of both.
Yeah, it does. Hey, actually, I wanted to ask you now that you mentioned, like, you grew up in Melbourne, didn't you?
No, I grew up in Canberra.
You grew up in Canberra. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a lot less Tamil people there. There's a lot more tight. Like Melbourne has a strong Sri Lankan Tamil community as well.
Yes, it does. So, yeah. No, it's really good because I find that the Tamil community here is just everyone's so bonded together. There's a really just a strong sense of community, and it's so beautiful because especially when you think of it in the performing arts industry, there's everything from dance to music. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's just really, really beautiful.
The classical scene there is really strong. The Carnatic scene in Melbourne.
Yeah. No, definitely. But I think like, just moving on to the next question as well, like you've made like just such a big impression on the Tamil community in general. Like, I don't know if you know this, like we're all huge fans. I remember the first time you came to Melbourne, oh my God, I get to learn from Shashi. So it was just one of those big fan moments as well. And same for a lot of our other performers and teachers, but you've kind of brought like Tamil music and like South Indian and Tamil music to like a next level. And you've made like people actually just love it more, even though they've already loved it. And I completely remember that from when you did guest teaching for us, like you gave that speech at the start of the class where, you actually made students feel comfortable regardless of what age they were at. And you explained to them what your goals were in terms of just expanding and doing everything you can to possibly grow your talent and just trying different styles. And just, like I remember when you explained that style as well, and it's so beautiful. But I was going to say, like, tell us more about, is it SSDA, like your dance school, and also the Gaana Galatta? Like, it's so many things.
Yeah, so SSDA is something I started in 2017.
Okay.
It was just like workshops. It's essentially, my goal was just to get more people excited about creative arts,
Yeah.
and kind of showing off what they have. Because I feel like everyone here has the talent, but so many people are so scared to post and be outward about it. So just to provide sort of a platform and a regular kind of meetup where all these creative minds, dancers can come together and kind of just enjoy it. Just once every Sunday, like once a week. So that was happening between 2017 to 18. And in 2018, I picked up a show called Gaana Galatta. So this is something I had in mind, where overseas in London and Canada, there's a lot of strong Tamil community, and they have very, very well established pathways for creative arts and people who want to pursue it. There's like rappers and dancers who can just live on their creative arts, which I can't even think of right now in Australia for me, but you're doing it. That's amazing.
It's not easy, man. It really wasn't easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Definitely in Australia, because it's almost like there's almost a lack of support or encouragement for that.
Yeah.
And it means you have to be very intrinsically motivated. So someone like you to do that, you have to be very strong and very motivated.
No,
right?
honestly, it's not easy. And I couldn't have done it without my partner. Like, if it wouldn't happen if you don't have that support network, like you said.
Yeah. Exactly. That support network is huge. And I was lucky enough to have that kind of support network with my friends.
Yeah.
So when I did start SSDA or Gaana Galatta, they were 100% behind it. And I think it helps having a good friends who are also great dancers.
Yeah.
So that way you just chuck one of them as a choreographer, you chuck one of them as, they know what a dancer needs.
Yeah.
So let me finish explaining on Gaana Galatta. Sorry, sidetracked a bit there.
No, go for it. Good.
So Gaana Galatta is essentially just a platform for South Indian artists and Tamil artists to come together and kind of perform. So each team comes and does a 10 to 15-minute routine. They can either have a completely new idea, or they can copy like a film and do like a parody kind of similar kind of way about it.
Yeah.
So we're actually the first to do that in Australia, and like we've seen like other other people pick that model up and replicate it. And we were supposed to have one this year as well, but obviously due to COVID, couldn't put it through. But it's exciting because there's about 80 people that perform. There's about 6 teams. There's about 800 people in attendance.
Yeah, wow.
So to see that come together was insane. And the first time we did it was a massive success, and we can't wait to like replicate that again. So yeah, so that's the kind of the projects that we're going with. And I have a few more in the pipeline, but we're gonna wait till COVID, and then we can start pushing things out again. So yeah.
You know what? I think once quarantine's completely done and COVID's more settled, the arts industry is going to be back and much more beautiful, and people are just going to be much more appreciative as well. And like, I'm going to fly down for your event, wherever it is. So it'll be amazing. And I think it's a good time for people to kind of be more creative as well. So I think your show will be really great. Yeah.
I think especially in a time like this, like I've had my like older uncles and aunties tell me, like, even if it's such a tough time for the arts community, it's still important for us to keep putting stuff out there, not just for ourselves, but for everyone else, to kind of raise that spirit, because it does get a bit like down when you're at home and you're stuck. And so yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And that's why I was saying, like, thank you so much for taking the time out of your Sunday, because these podcasts are meant to just keep the people in the industry motivated, because arts industry, everyone's suffering, but I think arts industry always kind of gets neglected anyway, a lot. But then, I think a lot of artists are feeling a little bit demotivated because of the consequences of COVID as well. But no, it's really great. I cannot wait to see your show. It's going to be really good. But I mean, you've talked about like the different styles that you do, but is there any styles that you've dabbled in or wanted to try? Like, is there anything on your bucket list that you've thought, oh, I really want to do that, but I don't have time? Or maybe you've done 1 or 2 lessons and never had the time to nurture that?
Yeah, well, see, I like to learn by like watching. That's how I've always learned. So I've seen like salsa, and I try to replicate similar moves. And I enjoy that. It's like a very different feel to what hip hop is. It was like cool. Wow, salsa is like very like kind of like intriguing and interesting. so that's something that I've always wanted to try. And I think even there's so many like workshops available during the weeknights. I just never had the time. It hasn't been a priority. But now since COVID, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. But another one is Afro. So Afro has seen a massive surge everywhere recently. And I recently tried it. And oh my God, my hips, it's a lot of hips, a lot of quads. Like I've never used my hips like this.
Oh, wow. That's because you're pretty strong as a dancer. Like, you know, I've seen you dance and like I've learnt from you, so I know the kind of effort you have to put in for your choreography. So for you to say something like that, it must be very difficult. Yeah.
It's just something you got to learn. It's just a bit of muscle memory, I think.
That's it. Yeah. No, but you're right. That industry's grown a lot, and I think I'm not sure how it is in Melbourne. Sorry, in Sydney, but Melbourne's got like some amazing, like just I'm not sure if you've heard of Jungle City Studios. They were actually on our very, very first podcast. Kitty Cat, Cat runs it, and it's all different types of styles from Jamaica and Ghana, and it's, oh my gosh, you got to try it. They've got online classes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely something to try. But I remember your body does hurt in a very, very difficult way. I guess we're so used to doing our own styles, and when you try and do something different, you got to technically train your muscles to adjust.
It's a good pain. It's learning pain.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we tell our students. But I was gonna say, like in general, how has like quarantine affected you and your classes and your events and?
Yeah, so like I said, we have to push back Gaana Galatta to next year. We're still finding out new dates. Probably it's going to be in the first half next year. In classes, I haven't been able to run in classes this year. Also, that's because I've been teaching some Tamil societies. So I've been kind of preoccupied with that. So, you know, it's like Tamil societies is where people come fresh out of school and they go into that to meet more people around Sydney. And that's a really good way to find new talent, and it's a good way to kind of foster them and encourage them to grow. Because what happens is that usually people go into these Tamil societies, from what I've seen, and they dance every year, they sing, they perform, and as soon as it's done, they don't have a platform, and then they're like, what now? And they stop. Right. So that's also like where I was like, with Gaana Galatta, they can come back, people who are past university. So yeah, it's that's what I've been kind of busy with. So I wish I could have taught more. Everyone's been telling me to do it online, but I just haven't had the like, I guess, push to do it yet. I just need to do it. I've been doing online classes though. I've been learning, so I've been trying to take it on to kind of recreate and build on myself. But yeah, I might see if I can do one online before lockdown gets uplifted. But yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah, please let us know, because our students loved you, like, and they kept asking, when's that guy from Sydney coming back? And I'm like, just hang on, he'll be back. Yeah, no, they absolutely loved your style. And I think it's, like, we have so many guest teachers, but you were one they remembered just specifically because not of your teaching method and your awesome choreo. It's just, like I said before, the things that you said to them, that you actually made them believe in themselves a lot more as well, because it's different hearing it from their everyday teacher and their other regular teachers from Bindaas. But when you hear it from someone who's come from a different state, they're teaching a completely different style, it actually goes in a little bit more. So thank you so much for that. You really lifted their spirits, and please do an online class. So there's your motivation. Goal for June if you can. But no, I completely get it. Like, as artists, everyone's like, we're very time poor. So this is a good opportunity for us to kind of take a break and step back and recover and revive, and also learn from other teachers. And it's good. Yeah. But I was going to say, like, I know, like, you've inspired so many dancers, especially ours, but those people that haven't actually attended your classes or, know you as a person or a choreographer, like, what would you say to aspiring dancers at any age? Because you've got the ones that are, very young, and then you've got, older males and females and other genders that want to dance, but sometimes they feel restricted by society or life obligations as well. And
yeah. Well, I guess we start from like the young kids is like when you're young, it's like just have fun with it, just enjoy it. Do your best to just learn, you know, just get the basics.
Yeah.
If you get the basics, they pay off at the end. For example, with me, I learned popping and I learned the basics,
Yeah.
and that just has just carried on to whatever I've learned and whatever I've like grown into, and I was able to put it in anywhere. Sorry, I just started popping automatically when I was talking about it. But it's like learning the concepts and the basics, and having that discipline is important when you're young. So when you come to a stage where you're kind of confident and you can start doing styles and learn and go to like different workshops, I think it's just about keeping that fire within you going and just being like, all right, it's a process, it's a journey. I'm getting better by the day. Because like where I'm at, I'm also like an intermediate. I'm not like at the very end of my dance stage. Is that sometimes you get bogged down because you can see other people doing better than you, and you're just like, man, I started at the same time. Why am I not there? You know? But it's like everyone goes at different paces. So that's something you need to like just kind of have that in yourself. And as creative people, I don't know about you, but you get very emotional. You get very like up and down with how you feel. You know, and it's only sometimes another creative person can understand. Like sometimes you're like on the highest of highs. You just did a choreo, you taught a lesson, everyone loved it, cheering you on. And the next day, that high is gone and you're so low. You're like, man, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
You know, like where is it taking me? So there's different stages, you know, you have different advice. So that's like something you just got to stick it out and just enjoy it. And for older people, don't care about what other people think. Look, if it makes you happy, just do it. If it's not hurting anyone else, do it. You know, like I think one of my like rules with dance and also just life is that, you know, just enjoy yourself as long as it's not at someone else's expense, right? So yeah, that's how I think about it. You know, just gotta just enjoy it but in general, just have fun with it. That's what dance is about, right? And the days you don't want to dance, just do it. 5 minutes into it, you'll be like, yeah, it's good, because it's like it just activates all these feel good cells. So yeah,
it does, like 100%. And you know, like scientifically it's true, you're gonna get all the endorphins, everything's gonna kick in, you'll be fine. But I specifically wanted to ask you that because I think, especially because you're like you have such a big role in the Tamil community, and I feel like Tamil music is something that really, like, you can feel that beat. Like I've always loved, I've grown up loving it. Like as soon as you turn it on, like whether it's a slower song or whether it's proper dapankutu or whatever it is, it really, like, you can hear it inside you. And sometimes because of, you know, there's so many cultural boundaries as well, regardless of whether you're living in Australia or you're living in, you know, any of the South Asian countries. But I find that our cultures have a lot more of those social expectations.
Yeah.
And I find like so many parents that come and drop their kids off to our classes, they love sitting and watching because they want to learn as well, but they feel like they can't. They're like, oh, I shouldn't be dancing after I have kids. I shouldn't be dancing because I work 9 to 5 every day. And I've literally convinced so many of them to join. And that's,
right.
I thought it'd be good to hear from another male dancer as well. Like, you know, it's sometimes I think people focus too much on their inhibitions and restrictions rather than how the benefits of the dance, you know, physically and emotionally, psychologically, everything. Yeah. But no, it's good. I'm glad you said that. But I was gonna say, what's on the cards for you for next year? I mean, I'm not even gonna say 2020, but apart from it, I know you're rescheduling Gaana Galatta, but like, are you planning to travel? Because you've traveled quite a bit. Has that been for dance or just personal travel? Like, because I remember Canada, was it, or UK?
Yeah, recent one was Toronto, and the one before was London.
Yeah.
And actually, the reasons why I did go is that because, how I said before, they have such a strong Tamil community. And before London, I was a little bit, like I was saying, a bit more whitewashed. And after London, it just had like a complete mindset shift. I was like, whoa, like these people are so proud of their culture. So like they embrace it, that it's a part of them. They can both be a part of like the white society and also be who they are, you know, what their culture is, and be proud of both. And I was like, whoa, that's such a different thing. Because I feel like in Australia, sometimes you get like ashamed to be something not what everyone else is, right? To speak a different language other than English. So that had a really big effect on me when I came back. And that's why I just got so motivated to kind of push into growing the Tamil culture, the Tamil community. And just anyone who's just willing to kind of push themselves. And then Toronto again was for another reason, just like to see the Tamil community there, because they're probably the epitome of like the dances, the creative arts. People make so many businesses out of entertainment that it's insane there, right? There's videographers, there's wedding planners, there's choreographers. They have it all, right? That's because the community supports its own people, right? Tamil people, they support their own people. All right, we have a wedding. Let's get a Tamil videographer, photographer. And they invest into themselves. And by that, they grow the whole community and have the most profound effect. And that's something I genuinely want to push here. And I've just been trying to encourage that. And we're actually seeing a little bit more difference in growth in that. Like people are starting to share people's posts on stories, comment, get that encouragement going. Because almost when I started about 4 or 5 years ago, you rarely see that. You rarely see people sharing each other's things, commenting. And that's a very unique thing to Australia that we need to change.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the 2 reasons why I did travel. And I got to dance there with some of the dancers there. Like in London, there was a guy called Jay Ravindran, a girl called Achna. And then in Canada, I got to dance with Jesse Sadir, Devakar. If you guys are in like the Tamil Instagram following, you'd know who they are. So these guys are like honestly the best of what they do there. And it's just about networking, honestly. It's about getting that community connected. And one of the best things about traveling is that you really get to kind of see who you are in those situations, because you can get up in sticky situations and, you know, you're just on your own. You're not influenced by anyone else. You don't really care what anyone else thinks either, because guess what? In a couple of weeks, you're out of there. They're not going to know who you are. They're not going to remember you. Yeah. And also, it's just like just a really good way to kind of learn a lot of lessons. Because you might not live it, but you can learn it through them. Especially through knowing, because they'll be like, oh man, in Canada, this happened, that happened, this is how we dealt with it. Same thing with London. It's like, oh, we had this show that encouraged this is the effect that it had. So yeah. Look, that's I'm not saying every dancer has to think like this and has to try and change the world, but I think doing your part by just enjoying yourself, posting, and, you know, just continuously progressing and working on yourself does the part for the community, right?
And then in return, the community is going to be there to support you, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
If you build it strongly. And I think you've started over the last number of years by all the work that you do, like you're building that, and it's great because, you know, when you see someone young like yourself doing it, you know, other like the rest of the younger generation's bound to follow as well. So no, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I think that's another thing I just want to make the point is that with younger people, I think don't let that age restrict you, right? When I did Gaana Galatta, I was 22. And people were like, how can this guy, 22-year-old, do a show? There was like things like other societies or like other groups. They doubted me, and then they approached me like, oh, you know, what? Like, don't do your show, do our show, because they were worried it was going to clash. And instead of me yielding, I was like, no, I'm going to take this as a competition. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you. And I did it. Nice. So don't let that age, because especially in a Indian or Sri Lankan community, age is an important thing for everyone. They're like, okay, respect your elders. If you're young, you don't know anything, that kind of attitude, right? But I think experience counts a lot more than what your age is. Obviously, the older you are, most likely you have more experience. But if you're younger and you put yourself in some tricky situations and you put yourself through some challenges, then you come out so much more experienced. And don't let age kind of stop you from pursuing anything, right? So yeah.
No, definitely, 100%. I think that's, you know, like it's a good motivating speech for everyone. And I think you're 100% right. Like, you know, you can't be thinking about every single cultural and social boundary and expectation. Like, you have to try and always push those boundaries, and that's the only way to grow as well. I'm not saying it's like you said before, as long as it's not at the expense of hurting someone else that you love or care about. Yeah. But I was gonna say one last thing before we wrap up. It's kind of like a word game or a sentence game. So basically, finish the sentence. So I'm gonna start off a sentence, and you put your own. I can't talk English today. Sorry, it's Sunday. I have these days when I'm like 7, 8, 9, 10 instead of 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's just, sometimes it comes out in speech as well. Just been a chill day. But basically, I'll start a sentence and you put your own thought into it, so that way people can get to know you more.
Okay.
So my favorite food is
Italian food.
Oh, nice. The next country I'm going to travel is
America.
Oh, awesome. All right. My favorite style of dance is might be a silly one.
I'm gonna say urban Ghana. Our own stuff.
Yeah. I would love to dance with this celebrity. Name 3 actually.
Oh, 3. I'd say Chris Brown, Bruno Mars, and Prabhudeva.
Yes.
Yes.
Prabhudeva's on my list too.
Yeah.
Chris Brown is an amazing dancer, and Bruno's just so natural. He's very effortless. It's just like he just does it in his sleep. Grew up doing it. Yeah.
Perfect. Cool dances.
Okay. The first place I'm going to go to after quarantine lifts.
Melbourne.
All right. I'm choreographing XYZ at the moment.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, wait. If you want to keep it a surprise, that's fine.
I don't know. I guess there's a few independent artists that I'm trying to put some songs out with. So I'm trying to see if I can, come up with something for one of their songs. But we'll keep it on the DL.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out for you then. No, it'll be good. Donald Trump is...
Yeah.
That's a good enough answer. That's a good enough answer. Last one. One place, I don't even know how to structure this sentence. What's one place you've always wanted to go to travel within Australia? Like a specific location, or it could be a dance studio or something.
Just travel-wise, I want to go to see Uluru, just in the middle. Just see the red desert. But dance-wise, I probably want to kind of go either Brisbane or Adelaide to teach next. If I can ever get the opportunity, if someone sees this and they're like, hey, look, have you down? I'm happy to be there.
I think, you know what, I'm not sure if you have dance contacts in Brisbane. You probably do, because you've got such a huge fan base as well. But there is a brilliant teacher and a dance company in Brisbane. They would probably love to have you guest teach. So we will work that out.
Yeah. All right.
I was going to say, we're going to wrap up, but thank you so much for taking the time. I'm going to put all your details below, guys. So make sure you hit his Instagram and Facebook and all the other socials. Keep up to date, especially with his events. If you want to be involved, get in touch ASAP, because I think once quarantine lifts, you'll probably start organizing or reorganizing for next year as well.
Yeah.
All right. And please don't forget, he said he's coming to Melbourne. Best thing after quarantine. All right. Thank you so much.
Right.
Take care. I will see you in Melbourne or Sydney. Bye.